You think Biden is not alive right now?
No, the guy that's doing the stand-up job of trying to wake people up is an actor wearing a mask. I mean, there's several different people playing Joe Biden at this point. And then when he fell up the stairs going on the airplane, I myself think that was Jim Carrey. I've heard that he was one of them.
Wait. You think that Jim Carrey was wearing a mask and was the acting president?
And being silly by falling up the stairs 3 different times. And James Woods also, I think, is one of the doppelganger mask-wearing people.
What is going on out there, peeps? Yeah, I know. You see that video? That's what I realized I'm up against. I had a great conversation with a woman named Michelle. It started off as us chatting back and forth on Facebook about a couple things. She was making her case as to why it is that Juan Savin is JFK Jr. And I asked her about her research. And she swears up and down that she does a ton of research. And she knows for a fact that Juan Savin is JFK Jr. Well, after a while, I got to where it's too much typing. So we got to chit-chatting, because I had to reach out to me. Shout out to Michelle. Thank you. It was a great conversation. Okay, so I said, okay, we're just going to take this from step 1, and we're going to go through this. I said, let me show you what you should have found in your research. So we went through the information together. When we were done, she admitted she didn't really do that much research. So look, I get it. I can understand why people think that is JFK Jr. No, actually, I can't. I can't. Seriously, I can't figure this out. We're going to go over a couple things, and then let's go ahead and see if we can find out the truth about who JFK Jr. is. Hopefully, you guys had a chance to see this video I posted, because many of you are talking about who can and who can't be tried at Gitmo, who's been there for military tribunals. So in here is, I let everybody know that I did run into somebody from JAG. We had a conversation. It was really good. He answered all the questions about who can and who can't be tried at military tribunals and who is over there at Gitmo. So if you haven't had a chance to check it out, go check it out. Before we get started, hit the thumbs up button. If you are not a subscriber, what are you doing? Hook it up. Hit the subscriber button so you can catch all my greatness. So again, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. Right now is a great time. I'm telling you, it's on sale. Buy gold and silver. Protect yourself and your freedom. When you do go buy gold and silver, go to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you are a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you'll get a free half ounce of silver. All right, so we're talking about this good-looking fellow right here. Look, I don't have to be a female to realize that John was a very attractive man. He was a health fanatic. Some people said he was even obsessed with working out. Here's my question to you. If somebody is that obsessed with being healthy and working out, don't you think they would continue that throughout their life? Or do you think they just allowed themselves to get, I don't know, let themselves go? Just saying. That's one of the things I wanted to bring to their attention is, you think that's John? The guy who was a health fanatic. You think this is him now? That all of a sudden he said, man, screw health. I don't care about my fitness. I'm just going to let it all go away. Is that what you're saying? Turn into beers and potato chips and everything else? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Now, I will admit that there are a lot of things out there that are just mind-blowing. I can't believe the crap that I hear. An example is, this guy right here is claiming that he dropped off JFK Jr. on the top of Mount Rushmore on the 4th of July. When Trump gave his 4th of July speech there, he said he rode in the helicopter with Jr.
There's only 200 naval pilots at any given moment on the face of this planet that are Q capable. They are the most trusted. that can carry a nuclear weapon. No one else can. I heard that going off in my ear. Yeah, that's what happens when you talk about Q. Q is 6 military intelligence agencies led by the President of the United States of America. And a very, very special man that is helping, who currently serves as the Vice President of the United States of America. And it was kind of fun to be on that helicopter that dropped him off on Mount Rushmore so he could stand on George Washington's head. Yeah. You're welcome. What's that? John F. Kennedy Jr. I got the privilege of being on Don Jr.'s helicopter with Gene Ho. Gene Ho is President Trump's photographer, and John Jr. on July the 2nd of last year. And we just flew him up on top of Mount Rushmore, dropped him off and let him walk out there, and Gene took a picture. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's coming.
So yeah, you got guys coming out and making claims and stories like this. The pictures that you see in the background are actually of John at Mount Rushmore in 1999. So this guy's walking around, pacing himself, talking real slow, trying to sound real authoritative, like he's in the know. It's crazy how many people out there swear they have these insiders, or they're with the in crowd. You know what I mean? They're like, well, I was there. I witnessed it. Okay, it's possible. But then when you ask for them to show receipts, what's your proof? They don't have any. If you're up there with your photographer friend and he's taking pictures of what's going on, then why didn't you bring your pictures with you to prove to everybody? You know, you want to bring the picture of John on top of Washington's head. People hike up there all the time. They're not supposed to. You get in serious trouble. Back in 1999, Junior wanted to scale down the face of Mount Rushmore. He was told no. Now, that doesn't mean that Junior didn't at least get to the top and walk around and somebody snap a picture of him with his arms up. That very well may be him. But that wasn't from 2020. That's from 1999. This is what I'm talking about whenever I'm saying, hey, you know, stay grounded, do your research. And people are like, here's my proof. And you're like, wow, okay, this is your proof. So I went back and forth with a couple of people and I saved some of the information that they shot over to me was their proof that Juan Savin is JFK Jr. But first, let's take a little walk back in time. Because there was a time when everybody thought Joe M. was JFK Jr. Remember this thing?
What if I told you it was done on purpose? What if I told you that those who were corrupting the world, poisoning our food...
Hear that voice? I can't tell you how many thousands of times people were trying to tell me that this person narrating this video was John F. Kennedy Jr. Listen again.
...and igniting conflict were themselves about to be permanently eradicated from the...
Hear that voice? It's unique. You might have heard him first call into the news and give them the truth about JFK Jr.'s plane, which blew everybody's mind because it wasn't what was being reported to us.
Martha's Vineyard Airport Petty Officer Todd Burguns joins us from the Coast Guard base in Boston. He is the Petty Officer and a Public Information Officer. Thank you for being with us, sir. What can you tell us about this last communication with JFK Jr.'s plane?
All I really know at this time is that it was at 9:39 p.m. and it was with the FAA.
That voice sounds familiar because it's unique.
The Earth? You might think that an idealistic fantasy. And it was on its final approach to Martha's Vineyard. All that really helps us do as far as the search is it might give us a location to search. in, because if it was that close to Martha's Vineyard with the last contact, then chances are it may be in that area if in fact it did go down.
Officer, for those of us who are not that intimately familiar with flying and piloting a plane, when you say you had radio contact, can you explain exactly what that means? Did JFK Jr. himself radio in that he was on a final approach?
Unfortunately, I did not have the specifics of the call. The call came to the FAA, and I cannot speak for them and what was said.
Would that be the routine procedure, however, in a flight?
I believe it would be, yes. They make contact with the tower.
So at 9:39, to the best of your information, JFK Jr. made a contact with the airport, with the flight controllers, the air traffic controllers at Martha's Vineyard Airport, that he was on a final descent.
That is correct.
At 9:39. We also have information that the FAA also has a radar location of 2,500 feet, about 10 miles off the vineyard.
Hear the similarity in the voice? You see, I remember this phone call because what this man was reporting was not what the media was telling us. He is saying that JFK Jr. called in to say he was on final approach and he was already down to the 2,500 foot level. That's what this guy is saying. We're being told that Jr. was way higher than that and the plane spiraled out of control and crashed on down. But let's continue.
At approximately the same time. Do you have any information?
No, I do not have any information on that.
Given that information, is it safe to assume that that would be the location of one part of the search?
Yes, it is. That is a flagged area of the search. We are searching still the entire location between Caldwell, New Jersey, and Hyannis, Massachusetts.
Our government and the military had people searching for JFK Jr. Quite a distance from Martha's Vineyard. This man's saying that they were way closer, not further away. And where they found the plane didn't make any sense to anybody. So I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that's what this guy is doing when he calls in. Also, I'm trying to say that man's voice sounds familiar, doesn't it? Sounds like this.
Poisoning our food and igniting conflict were themselves about to be permanently eradicated from the earth.
Yeah, his voice was unique. I remember him calling in. I remember thinking, that's not what the news is telling us. All of a sudden, that information did disappear. So I happened to be watching a video, a montage of different news reports that were coming in during the day he disappeared and then the following days during the search. And in there, somebody had this clip of Todd calling in. And I was like, wow. I was shocked that they still had that around. But I remembered his voice. And then when this the plan came out, I was like, man, that guy's voice sounds familiar. And it bugged me to death until I came across Todd's video again. And I said, there it is. His voice and Joe M's voice are the same. And this is one of the people that everybody was claiming was John F. Kennedy Jr. JFK Jr., Todd Burguns. There it is. I know you guys want to hear this, so I will leave the link down below for you guys to come check out. So in the other video, I told you everybody was claiming that this was Junior. This guy was on Twitter. I had this guy even reach out to me. It's not actually him. It was just Charlie Freak acting like him. Claiming to be John F. Kennedy Jr., wanted to share some information with me, and I would be part of the chosen few, along with Charlie Freak and Santa Surfing and okay, whatever. Now again, back to this guy. I said, "What? Show me. I want to see your proof. What makes you think this is Junior?" Besides the fact that Junior was a health fanatic, but okay, let's say John gave up his health and decided to be a steak-eating beer drinker, okay? So what makes you think this is him? I'm not even kidding you. They sent me one of these pictures here, that their proof this is Junior is because Juan Savin puts up one leg on a table like Junior does, okay? This is part of their proof. I said, so are these the only two people in the world who put their one leg up? Is that your proof? Nobody else puts one leg up. As I'm telling you this, I want you to remember the video that I showed you at the beginning of the lady and their thinking mentality when it comes to things like this. That Jim Carrey's running around with a Biden mask on. Those are the same people who would send me this as their proof. One of the other pictures is there's a scar on each one of their hands that matches the same location, as if nobody else gets scars there. So, as evidence number one, they both put their leg up on top of a table. Photograph number two that I'm not sharing because I don't have it was the fact that they have a scar on their hand in the same location. Number 3, there's a side profile. You know, I guess they got the same nose. I mean, I don't get it. But this is part of their evidence. You put them side by side. I remember when everybody thought Vincent Fusco was JFK Jr. Remember that? And when you asked them, what's their evidence? They sent you this side-by-side picture. They did this thing right here. Then you get these kind of things. Vincent means to conquer. Fusco means the dark. Yeah, this is the extreme people are going to. You know, in the beginning, I used to just laugh really hard, but after a while, I started to realize just how serious this is. Then you had these morphine pictures, remember? So you got the side-by-side of Juan O. Savin, and then you had these morphine pictures of Vincent Fusco. Now, I will concede to this. This absolutely looks like the same person. I'm not even kidding. And she would be approximately the same age. When I saw this picture of her, it made me go, is it possible? But no. But absolutely, this woman would be the doppelganger. Remember, we had these. That was another one. I was like, okay, look, I'm more convinced of this one than anything else. Here's Vincent Fusco's overlay on Junior. Here he is out here. Remember, everybody thought this was JFK Jr. Who is Vincent Fusco? Is it JFK Jr.? Good Lord. Back to this guy. Now, I asked people, did Juan ever claim himself that he was JFK Jr.? There's been no confirmation that Juan ever made that claim himself. Not yet. So if one of you guys out there know whether or not Juan is claiming to be JFK Jr., let me know. Let's take a step back into some critical thinking. I know a lot of people are lacking it because we haven't really had to exercise that in school anymore. Now, if this was John F. Kennedy Jr., why would he go out and claim to be somebody called Juan O. Savin, whose real name is Wayne Willett? Now that you're in public and you're speaking out, why wouldn't you just say, look, the truth is, I'm JFK Jr.? Why hide it now? If you already have that swirling around amongst the social media platforms, there would be no longer a reason to hide it. As a matter of fact, I told you one of the things that bugged me about him was not a big thing. It was a minor thing. It was the fact that he would never show his face on a video. I was like, yeah, that's his thing. You know, I'll show you my feet. In all fairness, I prejudged that because I was thinking to myself, oh, God, he's probably one of these people who's going to try to act like he's a much more important person in this whole arena. That's why he's not showing himself. And so after hearing a few minutes of one of his videos, I was like, I'm just not interested. That was just me prejudging. I have caught other videos that he came out with that I thought were interesting, but really didn't give it too much of a thought until recently when people have been trying to convince me that this is John F. Kennedy Jr. When I did a little bit more digging in to try to make my point to a couple of people, I did find out that Wayne here came out. He's at meet and greets, and this is him, right, one of them right now, and he's showing his face. So he's no longer hiding. Now, whether or not he continues to go by a Juan O. Savin or if he's telling people who he is, which is Wayne, you know, that's another ballgame altogether. Wayne is older than Junior by a couple, 3 years. He is born in July of 56 or 57. John's born in 1960. Wayne used to be a private investigator. He did private investigations against workman comp claims. Here's one of the documents on the court case. What's it say? In the summer of 2007 and 8, employer retained the Northern Investigative Associates, NIA. Wayne was one of the people that worked on this case. So he was a private investigator. Does that sound like something John would do? It doesn't take much to just do a case lookup and find that this guy has several court cases against him, including domestic violence. Does that sound like something John would do? Again, not to get all in this man's personal business, but I was trying to make a point to people. It didn't take very much research to find out information on this guy. People are out there claiming that they've done all their due diligence and they're great researchers, but couldn't find all this information. So he was a private investigator. This is Wayne calling a radio show. Back in the days, he would call himself W, the Intelligence Insider. So it seems to me like Wayne often liked to act like he had some kind of insider information, and he was talking directly with the main people, and, he was the shiznick. So this appears to be Wayne's gig.
submarine somewhere in the far reaches of the Pacific Northwest. It's none other than the intelligence insider W. W, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Well,
Very
let
good
me
stuff.
unleash you. You go for it, and you tell us what the hell's going on, man. I mean, it's insanity. Go for it. Go ahead.
Well, there's a certain logic to it. As we were talking even just a moment ago, if you step back a bit and you look at all of the things that Trump has focused on and is doing, in my opinion, and a growing number of other people's opinion, these locations that Trump was very verbal about from the outset were places where the CIA had become heavily involved in creating situations of conflict for our country surreptitiously.
And here you can hear him on another show. Same voice, same person.
The reality is you do have the skill sets. I think the beauty is an expression, an outgrowth of an inner personality oftentimes, and you're one of those people. And but it also goes deeper. I'm complimenting you, but I'm also doing that not, this isn't about just puffing up. It's that sometimes people only look skin deep. And the reality is in this time, this moment that we're in today, we're going to have to.
So this is this guy's thing. To call in to claim to be some insider that has all kinds of information. From the things that I heard him talk about is general knowledge. Most of the things he's talking about is publicly known, but most people in the YouTube sphere don't really pay attention to these geopolitics outside of just what they see on clickbait. This is what I do. I talk all the time with my friends. They are out there and they deal with geopolitics. Some of the things I hear him talking about are things that are already publicly known. I don't want people to think I'm judging Wayne. What I'm trying to say is, in the brief handful of videos that I heard Wayne speak, most of the things he was talking about were things that are publicly known. But he's definitely somebody who pays attention to geopolitics. That was my impression of him. So this is just a regular guy. This is not John F. Kennedy Jr., you guys. I could do this all day long, but I don't want people to get the impression that I'm picking on Wayne. I'm not. Whatever he does, that's his barbecue, like I said. But when people are coming at me going, man, you don't know, you don't do your research, I'm like, what are you, nuts? It doesn't take very much to find out things about individuals. Really, it doesn't. People's businesses all over the damn internet. The problem with what Wayne is doing by becoming somebody called Juan or Savin, acting like you have all this insider information, is the bigger you become, then you're going to have people who know their ass from a hole in the ground when it comes to due diligence, who are going to come out and go after you. So that's why that information is all out there. As Wayne became more popular, as Juan O'Savin or as W the intelligence, people are going to start looking into you to see if you're real or not. So when trying to make my point to a handful of people that this is not JFK Jr., I found a ton of things out there. One of them was really sad. If it's true, and I read the article, and my condolences go out to Wayne, but he lost a very close family member recently that when I saw really just grabbed my heart. So my condolences to Wayne for his loss. It happened on my birthday of all damn days, and I'm not going to get into who it was, but point is, out of all this is not JFK Jr. It's just Wayne Willett, a.k.a. Juan O'Savin, a.k.a. W the Intelligence. When the whole 17th letter movement came out, I was a supporter. I was a huge supporter. But I remember when it came out in the beginning, it seemed very real and exciting at the same time. As time went on, people started doing these so-called Q codes. Then they had these Q interpretations. People were taking images of the post, showing what was said by somebody called Q, and then they would give their interpretation or they would decode them like this is what it really means. And that's when crap started getting carried away. They started coming out with these elaborate stories, and then they started getting into this whole fantasy world. And it just got out of control. And then the Sarah Jacera started to grow around the same time. And all of a sudden, they started merging the two subjects together, and it became a big ball of mush. That's why on this channel we stay grounded. I'll go over the things that are on that list. I'm not claiming that Nasira Jacera isn't real. I'm just saying there has not been any official announcement of a Nasira Jacera. And in my opinion, they're just not going to come out and say, hey, Nasira Jacera, if anything, it'll most likely would be a debt jubilee or debt forgiveness. Wayne is not John F. Kennedy Jr. He's got siblings, brothers and sisters, and a whole 9 yards. If you believe what is being said about him, that would mean that Jr. had other siblings that weren't related to the Kennedys. Like I said, it didn't take very much due diligence. There are a ton of websites out there, a ton of posts of people just wrecking Wayne. I mean, they get all into his personal business and stuff. And that's not the purpose of this video. I'm just saying, you guys that are claiming to do your research, you're not doing it very well. Anyways, that's it for now. You guys hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later. I'm out.